This woman is the worst mother that I've ever seen. So this woman, her name is Resilient Jenkins. She's a TikTok star. She's basically one of those mothers that uses her kids for content. So this woman has 6 kids going on 7 now, and they all basically live in a 1-bedroom apartment. Look at this.
Started off with their typical nighttime routine of making sure everything gets cleaned up. Unfortunately, the bell keeps going out on her vacuum.
Like there's barely any space for any of them to breathe. What's going to happen when they're all teenagers, going through puberty? I mean, then it's going to get a million times worse. I mean, the comments have this really spot on. This is literally the kind of houses they rescue kids from. Why are you having more? Having your 1-year-old toddler sleep next to a front door is such a bright idea. Wait, actually? Yeah, I mean, they're literally sleeping right next to the front door. Let me be just straight up. I don't like to judge people, but if you're going to be a degenerate, I'm going to judge you. Like it would be one thing if you couldn't help it. This is a family, right, where there aren't any forced laws where you need to have a bunch of kids or you need to be confined to a 1-bedroom apartment. You don't need to have this many kids. Why are you subjecting human souls to this type of existence? This sounds miserable. Kids need their space or they're not going to have a very healthy upbringing. This has been proven through tons of research. You know what really disgusts me though and really makes me think that this mom is a really bad mom? This is the bedroom where the parents are in. So they get the nice comfy bed. Why are they sleeping on the nice comfy bed and all their kids are just sleeping out there on the living room floor? What? Why? That's so unbelievably messed up. I would hate my parents. Okay, hate them. That's a different level of selfish. Well, that's their living situation. Okay, well, maybe that's where it stops. Maybe it turns out, even though she's a selfish mom about the bed, maybe she makes up for it by, feeding them really awesome meals or paying for all sorts of extracurricular activities, sending them to really good schools so they get good educations. Is that the case?
Their nighttime routine at the Jenkins household. This evening, my husband was a little bit caught up with gig work, so I told him I would pick up the kids from school, and that gave us time to just go ahead and stop at the park on our way home. And we stayed just until the sun went behind the clouds, because let me tell you, as soon as it went behind the clouds, it got chilly. We got home and did a little bit of cleanup, and then everybody was feeling tacos again, so I warmed up the rest of the leftovers and then just made a little bit of extra ground beef. We also have some leftover twice-baked potatoes that I warmed up, which nobody ended up eating.
Okay, so this is a normal evening routine. She takes them to the park. That's nice. I guess they get to go to the park. And, they help her clean up, which, it's okay, I guess, if your kids help you clean up, especially in such a big family like this. And, she takes the time to actually make food herself. In my opinion, it doesn't look the most appetizing, but the kids seem to be enjoying it. And that's what really counts, right? Bro, look at this. This is what happens when people live on top of each other. She's vacuuming this kid is literally going to get stuck under the vacuum, okay? That newborn baby pops out. You better make sure you don't vacuum over the kid because it's hard for you to even clean up without the kids just being all over the place because it's 7 people. Wait, no. You got 6 kids plus 2 parents, 8 humans living in 600 square feet. That's just a recipe for disaster. And I'm guessing the dad is just coming home from work here. So I guess the dad is out working all day, providing, which is a good thing. Listen, the kids seem happy enough, but they're very little, right? They're so young. I'm telling you, when they get older, I really sincerely hope, I'm not trying to clown, I sincerely hope that this family upgrades their home if they can. Maybe get subsidized housing. You got to be able to get a grant for that if you're in the United States. This is crazy. There's no way that, 6 teenagers are going to be able to, especially if you keep popping out more kids, which I don't know why you keep popping out more kids. It's baffling to me. Sex protection. Protect the sex. Help a girl out. My hubby said if we can flip our financial position, this doesn't have to be our last baby. I told you, she's trying to have more. She wants more. Listen, at a certain point, you just got to be enough is enough. Why do you need that many kids? Especially when you're already struggling financially. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I will not raise my kids with gentle parenting. You got me bent back sideways. This is my 5th child, okay? Gentle parenting don't do shit.
You're not going to raise your kids with gentle parenting. Trust me, you're already doing that. They're living on hard rock floors. Okay, they're already living the hard knock life. See, this right here is why I know that this mother is not a victim. She knows what she's doing. Absolutely baffles me that my beautiful kiddos haven't gone viral yet. 2 years and counting babies, we got this. Eventually, mama will make our dreams happen. Like, it's like she's like, because it's a very unique situation, right? Like 6 kids, living in a 1-bedroom apartment. Like, it's a type of thing that makes people look twice because it's just so insanely horrible. She just wants to get this, virality. She's using her kids to go viral and having more to make the situation even crazier and increase the chance of going viral. Like, I could be wrong, okay, but to me, it just seems like you're just having kids for clout. Like, this is a different level of clout chasing. You're just pumping out babies for the views. All right, and then here's another TikTok where apparently she gets one of these, a mean comment, but one that I think rightfully calls her out. Apparently you don't care about their childhoods or their well-being. It's very clear that this woman cannot take criticism, because anytime that she gets a TikTok where it's attacking her, she'll turn off the comments. That's the number one thing that I don't like about a lot of social media, is that people can turn off their comments, because it's how are we going to tell these people that they're degenerates? How are we going to let them know? All right, so we're going to give her a chance to defend herself. Okay, this is her actually trying to address all the hate. Let's see what she has to say.
Let people decide for themselves if they want to hear it from people who weren't there, who didn't experience it, or the person who actually went through it. A lot of people have just already decided to hate me, and that's your stance, that's your right. Take the understanding that Jesus died for everybody. I just plan on continuing to do everything I've been doing from the beginning and keep bettering myself as a mother and as a person. You don't have the kids' best interest in heart if you're trying to snatch them away from us. They love us. We take care of them. We are very involved parents.
Okay, so I just watched through this entire 4-minute snippet of her basically justifying the whole, or trying to justify the whole situation. I'm not gonna lie, I still think you're full of shit. Listen, I'm trying to be as unbiased as I can. I really do feel for the children in this situation. Basically, she's saying, she went through some stuff with her ex-husband. She didn't go into details, but she went through some stuff without elaborating. So it's still hard to say. She says she has the children's best interests in mind, which is really contradicted by the fact that she continues having more children, even though her and her husband are in no position to support that child, right? When you're already living in struggling conditions. Unless you can tell me otherwise, maybe something happened, right? Maybe there was some horrible abuse. You haven't elaborated, right? So I'm just going off what I know, okay? If you can tell me, give me the details. As far as I know, you are having these children on your own accord, right? And from the TikToks that I've watched, you seem to really be a clout chaser. And it seems like making kids is your way of chasing clout. You don't seem to have the children's best interests in mind when you let them sleep on the kitchen floor first, and then you allow yourself to sleep on the bed. I mean, that doesn't scream mother of the year to me. Your husband owning a PS5 doesn't strike me as being in the kid's best interest, when that money could better be spent towards groceries and food, or a better housing situation that your children very desperately need. The only thing that I will side with this mother on, that people on the internet that are hating are actually sharing the location of where her children go to school and of where they live. And that's definitely where I absolutely sympathize, because, especially with the internet, people should not be doxing you like that. I still don't agree with most of what she's talking about, essentially. I mean, I just think my parents were way smarter than this, right? And had kids when it actually made financial sense to do so, right? Because I have a lot of siblings too. I have 7 siblings. Having big families is great. There's nothing wrong with that, but you need to be in a position where you can give those kids proper space and the proper things that they really need. These kids are going to be screwed if you don't fix their housing situation by the time they're older. So, I sincerely hope, at this point, for the sake of the kids, you guys can qualify for some kind of government assistance, maybe a bigger house or something, or maybe, if worst comes to worst, maybe these kids are better off in a foster home. I'm being dead serious. To people who are actually better financially able to provide. So yeah, this is just something that really triggered me, and I just had to talk about it. So yeah.